This first, resolution would be, once introduced by Commissioner Rhodes, and we'll let him speak on this, the purchase of 2 passenger vans for the Churchill and Bulls Gap VFW Funeral Detail.
So, do I need to read the resolution for this? I've never read
You
the
don't have to read the resolution, just as long as you.
Alright, so, I was approached some time ago about the dire need for some transportation for the VFW funeral detail. If any of you all have ever had a veteran that's passed away in your family, typically the VFW is the organization that covers the funeral detail for them, and it's at no cost to the family. It's a service that, by nature of being a veteran, you receive. The vans that they have are in terrible disrepair. They're having a hard time keeping the maintenance up on them. And I've talked to the members of both VFW at the Churchill and Bulls Gap. The Rogersville VFW portion of that detail just kind of falls in with the other two. So they're not in need of a van because they don't have one stationed there. They just fall under the other VFWs. So anyway, it was brought to my attention that they're in dire need of some transportation to help honor our veterans, and I feel like we could support them funding that through the undesignated fund balance, which I gave you a quote that Rogersville Chevrolet has done for them, and thankfully Rogersville Chevrolet has quoted the price of these vehicles at cost. There is no markup on them at all. The sales manager, Eric Rice, quoted them at cost. So for each, including taxes and dock fees, $44,794.96, which comes to a total of about $89,590. So with that said, that's my resolution, and I would like to make a motion to approve that if I could by the budget committee.
First question, do we pay tax?
Yeah, well, it's a nonprofit organization, so it's a VFW. They probably will be tax exempt.
If the county buys them, it'd be tax exempt.
Well, so the way it would work, Mr. Evans, is we would like to donate, I guess, the money to them. We wouldn't be actually purchasing the vans. VFW would purchase the vans themselves. We would just give them the money to do that with.
Motion's been made to send this on to full commission. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Evans. Now we'll have, is there any further discussion?
So,
And I'm sorry, I jumped ahead of the ball game. I apologize, Mr. Chairman.
I'll take it. Sorry.
Well, that state bid, I mean, I know you said they're coming in, they're giving that cost, but are there state bids available?
There could be, Mr. Gibson.
But now, I mean, why don't you clarify, you're talking about giving them the money and them buying it? Are there a reason for that?
Not necessarily, other than, I mean, I don't know that the county would be in a position to purchase them and then donate the equipment, or if it would be better to give them the money. I mean, and that's up for discussion. It doesn't really matter either way to me as long as they get the equipment. If the county were to buy it, my belief is that you could use a state bid. If we wrote a check to the VFW, then they could not use a state bid. They would have to just simply use whatever price that they were given.
Eric, can you help us on that?
My only concern that I've heard so far is that they've not jumped through the same hoops that the other nonprofits have had to do to get their contributions. Typically, we have a timeline where we send out renewal requests. They would submit their data in here. We don't have any of their financials. We don't have the TCA requirement for what they intend to use the money for. I mean, obviously, we know what they're going to use it for, but I think this documentation will all be submitted before this would be a legal expenditure.
You know, I guess I'm coming to the committee today to help probably some of the most important people that are in our population, that's those who have served the country. And there's no greater service I think that the county can do than to honor them in their death. Many of them are going to their graves with wounds that they've suffered as a result of combat. Some of them are not, but many of them are. And I know these VFW personnel volunteer their time. They don't request anything other than just an opportunity to serve their community and do it with honor, I believe. So I understand the concern. Honestly, I didn't realize the need until I was approached about the need. And given the opportunity to apply for ARPA money the same way that others have applied, I do believe they would have had I approached them then, which is why I'm asking to use undesignated fund balance money. This would not come out of ARPA money.
They could still do that, they could still ask to,
Okay.
the ad hoc committee.
Okay. And I'll certainly, if that's, I'm open to any amendment on the motion, like I say, as far as how it's done or what the timeline looks like, in my opinion, I'd love to see it happen. It doesn't have to be tomorrow, and I want to do it the right way, so.
Well, I'm not, when I'm asked this question, I'm by no means opposed to it, because I agree, my father was a veteran, my grandfather was a veteran. I never served, but I do have family members that did. But we need to do it consistently with everything.
I could sit here and keep my mouth shut and not offend nobody. And I agree with everything that you said, Jason. And our veterans are some of the most important people to me. But this is a concern that I have. If we start taking out the undesignated fund balance for every worthy cause that's in Hawkins County, we'll bankrupt the taxpayers. And, you know, if we can find this money elsewhere, we sure do need to find it elsewhere. I'm not opposed, and I don't know if anybody's looked at trying to start a fund. I'm more than gladly contribute, and there's other people I can get contribute to this. But what we're doing by this, if we do it this way, we're telling every taxpayer that they're gonna have to donate to this cause, whether they want to or not. And I'm more than happy to donate to it. I'll give whatever I can toward it. But I shouldn't be trying to tell every other taxpayer in this county that they have to donate whether they want to or not. And if we set this precedent,
You're gonna have others.
there's gonna be others that we're gonna have to, you know, do the same thing for. And I'm not against this, don't get me wrong. I'm fully supportive of it, and everything you said is true. There's some of the most worthy people out there, and what you said, if you've never been to a funeral where these guys go to perform, you need to just go to one. And they do a service for our veterans, and it's something that they have. It's something that they deserve, that they have fought for, and it's the least that we can do for them, but it's sort of putting us in a predicament if we set this precedent. And I'm not, you know, please don't get me wrong, I'm not opposed to that. I'm just opposed to taking it out of the undesignated fund balance, because if we do it once, you know, somebody else comes along with a worthy cause, how are we gonna handle that?
And Mr. Chairman, I understand, and the one thing that I wish had happened is that I had known during budgeting time, and the VFW could have applied just as if they were in the fire department or EMS or part of the rescue squad or, you know, any of the other nonprofits. Because at the time, I think I would have encouraged them to do that. I didn't realize there was a need until after that time happened. And unfortunately, you know, we're looking at process, and while I respect that, the service that they offer, you know, is a pretty great service. And I'd love to see them have some equipment that they could use. And I've already told them, if the resolution fails, I'll help them raise money myself if
Well,
I can.
Could we not try to do that approach first and start a fund and start raising money?
So through the organization.
What would be wrong with letting whoever you're talking to, I don't know who it is, talk to Eric, and provide the proper paperwork, and talk to Mark at the ad hoc committee and see where that goes. We can table this right now and see how that goes, and then that will take care of part of the problem, right, Richard?
Well, I mean, to me, that would be the best solution, because if we go through with this, you know, we're setting a precedent for any worthwhile organization to come and say, I ain't in the budget, but, you know,
Yeah.
look at this out of undesignated fund balance.
Another thing, budget comes up in May, so we could, you know, I mean, that's not that far.
And there would be another thing come into play. I know Jim held money until all the paperwork is turned in on all other nonprofits, and he might veto this. And then that would be a possibility. And I'd rather, let's take the time and get the paperwork right than run the risk of him getting vetoed.
Sure, I think it's fine. I mean, if the committee wants to table it, then I certainly won't present it at the full commission. At the very least, I'd like to put it on our agenda as a task to complete in the next few months.
Well, right now, there's a motion and second to send it to full commission. Is that what y'all wanna vote on, or y'all making a motion to table?
I make a motion table, I rescind it. This table.
I just went to the veterans.
Hold on just a minute, y'all, let's get a second on that, okay? A motion to table by Commissioner Edens. Is there a second to table the motion? Or the resolution?
I'll second it for now.
Second by Commissioner Thacker. Now, let's just,
I went to a veteran funeral last week, and I know they dedicate a lot of time, and they don't get paid for that. I'm sure and about all of them are, looks like that comes are 75, 80, 85 years old. They're old people that come to that. I just wonder what's gonna happen a few years down the road when some of these younger ones have to step up like they are. But, I've got a son that's a veteran, and I'm for it 100%. I'm like some of the others though, you know, I just wonder if we pass this, what other organization's gonna come through with something basically the same thing. And they're gonna, if you do it, they're gonna expect you to pull it out of undesignated fund balance or whatever, fund what they want. I think would be wise to wait through the budget process and see what takes place.
okay, motion to table. Is there any more discussion on that? We're gonna vote. If not, on the motion to table, let's do a roll call on that.
Motion to table, Jason Roach, no. Bob Edens,
Yes.
Raymond Jesse,
Yes.
Keith Gibson,
Yes.
Charlie Thacker,
Yes.
Rick Brewer.
Yes. The motion carries to table this, and it'll be left up to you what you do to me.
Thanks.